So, what is my channel about? It's, you know, I talk about a lot of topics that seem so random and different and all over the board and all over the place, and I know my thought streams often seem just crazy. The thoughts in my head are crazy. They're always... Let me give you an example. Hang on. Don't go nowhere. It's like this. Come on now, you know I'm a pervert. Don't ask why I have this much rope next to my bed. But, you know, it's like a lot of people, their thoughts are like this, you know, in their head. And it's just a nice linear line. And my thoughts are a lot more like this. Like where any line intersects, it can cross over and end up everywhere. And I like this rope, by the way. My channel is about self-acceptance and self-actualization and realization and self-realization. Like, it's about being true to yourself. The lesson that I've always tried to instill in my parents, the lesson I've always tried to instill in my kids and has been instilled in me by my parents was just be true to yourself. And I remember, I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. I remember being a little kid, and I didn't know that boys and girls wore different clothes. I didn't know anything. I was like 5. I really hadn't been in school yet, and I was at a Goodwill with my mom, and it was a dress, and I'm a real functional kid. I was like, man, that dress looks great. I'll be able to pee without having to open up my pants, and it'll be cool. I won't be all sweaty. So I was like, Mom, I want this. So she was like, okay. So she bought me a dress, and I ran around in a dress for a day, and I was like, man, I don't like wearing a dress. I'm going back to my pants. This shit is getting caught on everything. But, you know, it was a weird moment because it could have had something to do with my sexuality and not my functionality. And my parents never batted an eye. They were like, whatever, the kid wants a dress, let's get him a dress. You know, this is back in the 70s. So I've always taught my kids the same way. Like, you just be you. I don't want my kids to be embarrassed or worried about being who they need to be. And so you know, I've gotten comfortable enough with myself, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to just peel back layer after layer after layer after layer after layer and keep, like, to get to a point where you can be criticized and judged and called names and have done the self-work to know that it's not actual or factual. Like, it takes a long time, and I'm not even close to done. But that's not scary to me anymore. You know, you reach a point where it becomes so freeing to speak your truth, your truth. Other people don't have to agree with it. It doesn't have to be other people's truth. They should accept it, but they don't have to agree, whatever that might be. The best flavor of ice cream is vanilla. Like, people don't have to agree. You know, that could be your truth. And it's hard to communicate with people because a lot of times when you're just going about life day to day, you don't realize, like, sometimes we don't realize. It's like watching our kids grow. We can't see our kids grow in the leaps and bounds that they grow the way maybe a friend would that only sees them once every few years. And sometimes we don't realize how stuck we are. And that's why people swear. That's why people use harsh language. That's why people, it disrupts the way your neural patterns and your thinking work when you have something that distracts you. And when people speak harshly, sometimes people care deeply, much deeper than you could ever imagine. And they speak in words that seem inconsiderate and unloving and uncaring. And it's not from a place of hate. It's not from a place of being mean. It's not from a place of cruelness or bad intentions. it's from a place of love. It's just sometimes you lose track of how much of yourself gets lost in trying to conform. And whether it's social niceties or societal norms or whatever it is, we all want to conform. Nobody wants to be ostracized from a population. I mean, that's biologically hardwired in us. If this was 20,000 years ago and we were kicked out of our tribe, like, we would die. You couldn't provide for all your own needs. But we live in a time now where you can. We live in a time where you can care for yourself and you can stay in your own little bubble and you can get lost in your own world, and you can develop unhealthy, toxic habits that you know, are going to destroy you without people even noticing. You can hide them so easily. And so sometimes when people speak harshly, it's not insensitivity. I don't always agree with what I say. I don't always agree with myself, but I will pose questions because I think they're important to be asked. Whether or not I conclude that I do accept or I don't accept what I've proposed or the thought I'm having, the question still should be examined. And so often people focus on attacking the character of a person versus the merit of their statement or even actions. You know, a really good example of that is if let's think about this for a second. And let's throw some words out there. You know, stupid, bitch. Those are some triggers. So stupid, dumb, bitch, like whatever. Let's just kick out as many shitty words as we can, as many fucked up, hateful words as we can. If you were treading water at sea, if you were on a cruise and you got a little tipsy and you fell off the boat, and nobody noticed right away, and you have been treading water for a day and you felt like you were going to drown, because let's face it, a lot of people are in that spot, in that place in life where they just feel desperate, and they're just like, you just feel like you want to give up, like you feel like lost and desperate, and what is the hope? And if a ship come along and, you know, maybe whatever the reason, but they're like, hey, you dumb fucking bitch, like you want to get in our boat, we'll save you. Or what if somebody said, hey, you stupid fucking cunt, you won $1 million? Like, you don't say no because of how they said it. You're like, I mean, unless you're prideful, you know, and a lot of people are really prideful. So sometimes what somebody's trying to say gets lost in how they're saying it, but the reality is, like, you know, think about the treading water scenario. If you're just treading water and you just zone out, you're like, oh my God, you're off in your head and you're in your space, you're just trying to survive, and you might not even notice somebody right away. Like, we don't notice things. We don't learn in comfort. The growth edge is always where the discomfort is. The growth edge is always in a place of discomfort. Epiphanies come, I forget the guy's name that went off to Alaska in the 60s, but he almost died, and that's what caused him to say, fuck it, I'm gonna go live true to myself. You don't want to have to, like, risk losing your life before you start living your life. You don't want to just exist. And, you know, we have people in this world that are doing the work. We have people that are, and I'm not, this isn't me saying I'm one of them. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing what I know best. But there's people out there that are trying to learn the lessons. They're trying to think outside the box. They're trying to not respond in this indoctrinated social norms kind of way. And we can follow their lead. I mean, there's a lot of people doing it. I think the intellectual dark web is, I'm a huge fan of everybody on there. I don't agree with everybody on there, but they're all intelligent people that are willing to come together and function as a group and communicate together to try to facilitate change and ideas. And I think that's beautiful. I accept you. I support you. I would do whatever I can to come to some understanding with anybody. I wouldn't just call anybody names. I wouldn't just resort to saying you're wrong or dismissing what you're saying. There's always an opportunity for growth. You know, I don't know what you have to teach me. I guarantee you have things to teach me. I guarantee it. We all do. We all play the role of teacher and student and parent and child amongst each other in our village, in our tribe. So I don't know, you know, I've been pondering a lot lately because I've been struggling with like some of the stuff I'm thinking about. I'm struggling with watching the same things happen over and over and over and over and over again, and wanting to just scream to people to wake up. Like, why can't you see these interconnects? Why are people struggling so hard? Why do people have to use such harsh and firm language to get people to listen? And then, you know, that language is attacked instead of the message, or the tone or the delivery of the message is attacked instead of the content being like seen and having value. So I don't know, that's it. That's the end of this video. I didn't have anything to talk about. I just needed to talk. And so I appreciate you listening if you've watched this. And whoosh, I could tie some knots with this rope, by the way. I did this. Okay, wait. Let me show y'all something else. This is probably not even the right video for it, but you know, fuck it. Why not? I made this too. I got bored and I had a bunch of paracord. I'm not gonna say it's a flogger or anything, but it's a flogger. But I took a bunch of paracord and cut it, melted the ends, then put it on a key ring I had, and then I took a bunch more pieces of paracord and I like made this, you know, just a. It's not even like I had anybody to use it on, but that's the kind of shit I do when I'm bored. All right.